Hi YouTube, I'm officially back. I know it's been quite some time, but I decided that I wanted to start this up again. Initially, when I had first started up my account, I had mentioned that I wanted it to be a diverse account that I could talk about reviews and also different conversational pieces. While I was away, I was getting very heavy into my writing and also just reading a lot and focusing on bettering myself. I also do have a writing page in which I create original quotes as well as poetry. I thought that it would be interesting to share my views and go more in depth about where I get my inspiration from my poetry and my writing. So I wanted to focus on this specific topic today, and the topic is combating fear of confrontation. It's something that I have dealt with for a majority of my life, and it has impacted decisions that I've made as well as how I allowed people to treat me, so it's very important. Something that I would kind of sweep under the rug, but I noticed as I was getting older and I was starting to deal with mistreatment due to fear of confrontation, it was affecting me. I grew up in a very authoritarian household, so I would accept abuse in all aspects of my life. That was school, work, everywhere. The impression of having to be obedient at all costs and all times, even when I was being mistreated. Mentality as to where I had to be liked and appreciated or accepted by everyone, and this was an extremely dangerous mentality because it was at all cost. Unhealthy mentality followed in my relationships with men as well as my friendships, but as I got older I noticed it was starting to irritate me and I became passive aggressive. Passive aggressive is also very dangerous. It's because you feel a certain way but you don't want to express your feelings out of fear of hurting the other person. With passive aggression, you basically play games and how you're feeling is ambiguous to everybody else, so you just even get more frustrated. I actually had a wake-up call in the end of last year where it was a form of abuse within the workplace. Working with a specific manager within the workplace that was known for not knowing how to do her job through all the other employees, you'd say, or the MO. The whole office knew that this manager wasn't capable or reliable and she didn't know what she was doing. She was the type of person, instead of wanting to learn what to do, she wanted to appear as if she knew what she was doing. Where the abuse of me came into play. Here, as if she was an authority, she would try to belittle me or reprimand me and do it in a loud way so that the whole office could hear. The mistakes I made were very minuscule. They weren't a big deal. She was also guilty of making the same mistakes that I did, but she wanted to make it bigger than what it was. That's when I realized that this was a personal attack and it had nothing to do with work. This was all based off someone's ego and basically stroking their own ego. It was very difficult for me. This is where I took a stance and had to deal with confrontation firsthand, and I had to first force myself to do it. I know other people deal with this, but the only way to combat it is to basically talk yourself through it and approach the person in a respectable way. I'm very observant and intuitive, so I knew that she was very egotistical or ruled by her ego and the way other people thought of her. I approached her and let her know I didn't like how she was belittling me. Mind you, this is an egotistical person that doesn't want to take accountability for their actions, so she tried to switch the whole story around. Got really nasty with me, but the whole moral of the story is her actions of me changed and she changed her belittling ways. The whole conversation, I was telling her how she was making me feel and she kept trying to revert it back to a work situation when it was clearly personal. The moral of the story is she didn't apologize, but she did change her actions after that. Understand, when people are ruled by their ego, they don't want to take accountability, but when you check them, they will be checked because they're not authentic. Fear of confrontation all starts with you, and the moral of the story is either you have to stand up or advocate for yourself or get abused. You control people's reactions, and people are so messed up and have their own personal insecurities that have nothing to do with you. Focus on being respected and being authentic and saying how you feel in all circumstances, you will be way happier, and I'm learning that now. Even if something minuscule bothers you, check it right away so you get out of that passive aggressive mode. The confrontation is inevitable and it's something that you have to deal with, so start now. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it, and your feedback is always much appreciated. Thank you.